Okay, good morning and welcome to the video live stream for the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7 a.m. when we're recording this, if you're seeing it on the recording, and otherwise, you know what time it is. How you doing? We
Doing
have
pretty good.
Jason Long here. He's a deputy with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. I love having all the Sheriff's Office candidates come in because, especially when you're running from within the office, I feel safe. I got police protection here.
Oh, yeah.
How are things?
Things are pretty good right now. Pretty busy,
Yeah.
but good.
Okay, good. We'll be talking about you, ask you a few questions about yourself, and talk about yourself and where you come from and all that, and why you want to be sheriff.
Okay.
And what you want to do with the agency if you're given that opportunity. So we'll talk about that in a few moments, and anything else you want to talk about. A lot of stuff going on in the news.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, anyway, we'll talk about that. It's coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments. And also, if you miss any part of this, you can always go back to our archive on Facebook and YouTube and see what videos we have posted there. We have all the candidate interviews. They're there. They're there for you to watch. Just let us know if you want to see anything else. It is the WSJM Morning Show. Local news is coming up right in a couple minutes.
4. This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Don't let spring allergies make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution trusted by over 4 million people, Navage. Only Navage uses suction to flush out your sinuses using refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at your local Sam's Club in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local Sam's Club today. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Breathe easy.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
And good morning. 7:03 is the time. 67 degrees is the temperature outside, and it's raining in many areas around Southwest Michigan right now. Some of the local news that we're following, we'll give you that in just a moment. Also, a reminder, this hour, we're continuing our candidate discussions, and in the studio, we have Deputy Jason Long with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office, and he is running for Berrien County Sheriff. So we'll ask him some questions and let him talk about why he wants to be sheriff and what he would do with the agency. That's coming up in just a few moments. First, taking a look at local news, a Benton Harbor man has been sentenced to more than 7 years in prison for possessing a stolen firearm with a high-capacity magazine as a convicted felon. U.S. Attorney Mark Taunton says 30-year-old Darrell William Kraft Jr. was charged last October under Safe Summer 2023. It's a gun violence enforcement program. Taunton says in July of last year, following a series of apparently related shootings, police approached a parked car with Kraft and his girlfriend inside. They searched it and found a loaded pistol with a high-capacity magazine. They also searched Kraft's girlfriend's phone and found videos of Kraft holding and pointing the pistol. Ballistics testing showed the pistol had been used in 3 recent shootings. Kraft was charged with possessing a stolen firearm while on probation for a prior conviction. He was sentenced this week to 88 months in federal prison. Judge Paul Maloney imposed his sentence above the advisory sentencing range, adding that Kraft presented a major risk to the law-abiding public. And Taunton says the case is an example of how his office is taking gun crimes seriously and working to get illegal guns off the streets. The Van Buren County Sheriff's Office announced good news for the owner of a vintage hot rod. Just before 6 o'clock last night, Sheriff Daniel Abbott reported that sometime near the 4th of July holiday, someone stole a vintage red 1965 Plymouth Barracuda and a trailer that it was sitting on. Can you believe that? That's unbelievable. They stole the car and the trailer, and the suspects reportedly forced entry into a barn and to take the stuff. The sheriff's office put out a call for the public to be on the lookout for the vehicle and help in the recovery. The good news came just 4 hours later. The sheriff's office reported, just 4 hours after they put out the initial call for help, that the vehicle had been located and recovered. Again, we're talking about a 1965 Plymouth Barracuda. Vintage, red, beautiful car. That's a barn find for sure. No further details on the arrest available as of yet, but police do say that they'll give us more information as the investigation concludes. St. Joseph City Commissioners have given the green light to the Sandbar and Grill on Lakeshore Drive to continue offering outdoor music later at night than normally would be allowed in the summertime. Last month, commissioners agreed to let Sandbar owner Tom Jennings schedule bands to play until 11 p.m. on weekends throughout the month of July. It was a test run to see if police would see a big jump at noise complaints from the neighborhood. At this week's meeting of the City Commission, Jennings was back to request that the outdoor music be allowed to continue beyond July. Jennings also asked that the shows be allowed to go as late as 11:30. Questioned by city commissioners, St. Joseph Public Safety Director Steve Newbecker said he's gotten 2 noise complaints about the weekend shows this month. One of them involved the band playing a few minutes after 11 o'clock. Jennings said that was because the band started to do an encore but then stopped. Commissioners agreed to let the shows continue till 11 o'clock through September 14th. Turning down the request for the extension till 11:30 at night. They had advised Jennings to continue being vigilant about when the music stops, say do it right at 11 o'clock, if not before, and the normal city rules would only allow for outdoor music until 10 p.m. And finally, a 300-foot mural commissioned by Cornerstone Alliance for an alley behind its office in Benton Harbor is nearly complete after volunteers came out last week and over the weekend to help paint. The mural is all along the ground in the alley bounded by Pipestone Avenue, West Main Street, Colfax Street, and Wall Street. It was designed by artist Kim Wood, and Cornerstone Manager of Physical Development Jillian Nadolski, tells us that Wood guided the volunteers who contributed to the mural starting last Wednesday. Nadolski says in all, the mural spans about 7,800 square feet. It's one part of the Pipestone Alley Activation Project, a plan by Cornerstone to turn the alley into a public gathering space. Now, Nadolski says the next steps are coming up soon. They'll also place some furniture there and install landscaping. The plan is to have the alley transformed into a pedestrian promenade by September. Nadolski says the project is already generating a buzz as people wander over to check out the mural. That's a look at some of the local news that we're covering for you today from the WSJM Newsroom. It's 7:08. And we'll have the sports coming up in just a moment. Also, weather forecast. And we've got Deputy Jason Long from the Berrien County Sheriff's Office in studio this morning. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. So we'll talk to him about his run for that office in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Major League Baseball from Tuesday night. 3 losses for the White Sox, Tigers, and the Cubs. Jose Ramirez homered for the first time.
All right. Button pushing. That's what I do. Deputy Jason Long from the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. You're running for Berrien County Sheriff. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Glad
for
to be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 52 years old. I've been at the Berrien County Sheriff's Department for approximately 24 years and 3 months.
Okay.
I started in March of 2000. I worked in the jail for approximately 2.5 years. I went to the academy, police academy, in 2003. I graduated at the police academy May of 2003 and went on patrol.
Yeah.
I worked patrol up until the time we had the fatal shootings at the courthouse.
Yeah.
Since then, I transferred to the courthouse. So I'm part of support services right now, and I assist with courthouse security.
Okay. All right. I want to ask you a little bit about why you got into law enforcement and why you got into the sheriff's race and more about your background. We'll do that in a couple of moments if that's all right.
Okay.
And then actually we've got time right now. Why did you initially get into law enforcement?
I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
I felt it was my purpose on earth. I believe God put me here to help protect people. And I've done a lot of good. I've been very fortunate in my career. I've saved a few lives, and I prevented some different things from happening, bad things happening to some people.
Yeah. What can you elaborate on the lives saved piece? Would you?
Yes. I remember back in, what was that, February 2008, there was a call put out from dispatch that there was a man on fire, but the fire was put out on him.
Okay.
That was a call. I get there. That's not what was going on.
Okay.
The house was fully engulfed in flames. And I get out of my squad, and a female tells me that her dad's in the house. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you have any idea where he's at? And she gave me an idea of where he was at. I was able to go inside and find him. But you know what? Fires are kind of hot.
Yeah.
They're extremely hot.
For
And
sure.
nowadays, when there's a fire in a home, because of different types of chemicals and furniture and et cetera, smoke is highly toxic.
Oh yeah.
I was able to find a gentleman, and I dragged him outside. Skin was falling off his body. He wasn't breathing. I did CPR. He starts breathing again. And I'm like, whew, it's a blessing. This is good.
Yeah.
But then she tells me her mother's inside.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
So I asked her, where did she think her mother was? And was able to go inside, find her mother, get her mother outside. That was something else there. But after that, I collapsed and passed out. I woke up in the back of a ambulance, and they were ripping my shirt off, removing my vest. And then one of the paramedics, he just laid out there for me and said, hey, there's a good possibility you're going to stroke, possibly die. If not now, could be tomorrow.
Oh my
We're going to take you to the hospital and run some tests on you. Like, okay. I get to the hospital, and they gave me a test where they had to put a humongous needle in an artery to check and see how much CO2 was in my my body. And they did that. And a few hours later, I was released. They said that I was able to go home, and I was very happy about that.
Yeah, I bet. Hold that thought. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that story. We're gonna come off the video and live stream only, go back onto video and the radio in just a moment, okay? Continue this.
Okay.
Feeling more comfortable tomorrow, highs upper 70s. Taking a break from the humidity, entering the weekend, seeing lots of sun, highs near the low 80s Friday and Saturday. I'm WSBT 22 meteorologist Jessica Burns.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And good morning. Thank you for joining us. It's 7:14. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Rainy start to your Wednesday. And, well, you know, it's okay. We need the rain, right? Don't we need the rain?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we need the rain. It's good stuff. We're talking with Deputy Jason Long. He's with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office, and we started the interview on the video live stream. And we've already established that you're not afraid to go into a burning house. Man, oh man! So they both lived.
Unfortunately, the husband,
Okay,
he died the next day
because of
from
the
severe
severity of the burns.
Yes.
Okay. And the woman, she
survived.
Okay. That's great news. Well, thank you for sharing that story. If you missed that, you can go back on the video live stream later on Facebook or YouTube and play that. But we're talking with Jason Long. He continues our candidate series where we're talking to people who are running for public office, and the primary is coming up on August 6th. And there are 4 people running for Berrien County Sheriff. So, Jason Long, for those who haven't heard already, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from? How'd you get to law enforcement? Start at the beginning.
Okay. I grew up in Dowagiac, Michigan. I was actually born in Indiana.
Okay.
In South
We won't
Bend.
hold that against you.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Most of my family on my mother's side are Notre Dame fans. I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I'm a Michigan fan.
All right.
Graduated from Union High School in Dowagiac. I went to college a couple years at Grambling State University. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Grambling. Grambling is the university that had one of the most winningest coaches of ever, Eddie Robinson. He coached for over 50 years.
Okay.
That doesn't happen nowadays. You put together 2 or 3 bad seasons and you're out of there.
Right.
He coached Doug Williams. Doug Williams was the first Black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. He won it for the former team known as the Washington Redskins, or the Commanders now.
Right.
After I did my 2 years, I came back to Michigan and I worked for a company called National Association for Exceptional Citizens. What I did there was take care of the mentally handicapped. And because of my size, they wanted me to work with the most violent ones.
Oh, boy. Lucky you.
Yeah, that was interesting. But, it helped prepare me for my current job, because that's a big problem nowadays, mental health issues. Unfortunately, in the 90s, there was a lot of money that was cut back by the federal government and it trickled down to the state government. And that's one reason why your county jails are full. And there's a lot of people, in my opinion, that should be in some type of mental health facility versus a county jail, because they had more resources. But because of how the system is set up, it's unfortunate. Most of those people are in the county jails when they need more help than that. Well, after I left that job, NAFEC, now Association for Exceptional Citizens, I went to work for security at a Cook Nuclear Plant. I did that for a couple of years, and they were begging me to stay when I quit. They were going to give me the promotion that I put in for, but I was young. And at the time, the job is boring. For understand, things have changed. For instance, you can even read on post, do a crossword puzzle. You're just designated. You just sit or stand for several hours. Back then I was in my 20s and I was raring to go.
Yeah.
So I left there, and I left that position. I went on to do contracting for Cook Plant. So I was out there, made really good money back then, real good money. In fact, when I came to the Sheriff's Department in 2000, it was a big pay cut.
Oh.
I remember getting that first check, wondering where the rest of my money was at.
Why'd you do it? Why'd you take the pay cut to get to the Sheriff's Department?
I wanted to help people. I wanted to eventually hop in the car and drive fast and kick butt when I had to.
Okay.
And I always felt that was my calling. That was something I always wanted to do coming up as a kid, was be a cop. In fact, I found a picture here a few months ago. For Christmas, I got a police car, white, with a blue stripe down the middle, and you can see me holding it in the picture. But that's something I always wanted to do.
Yeah. How has it been?
It's been good. I mean, you have your days. The different things you witness and see is something else. For instance, if you're driving southbound on St. Joe Parkway and you're around the 15-mile marker, there's a cross there. It's for a young man that passed away in that area named Nathan. I was the first cop to arrive on scene, and unfortunately that gentleman's head was severed from his body from the accident that he was in. He was driving a vehicle that had a seatbelt attached to the door, and those things are dangerous, and that's why they don't make anymore. You lose the door, you have no protection. Things like that are rough. I remember another time there was an instance where I assisted with another fatality involving a young child less than 2 years old, a young boy. Him and the driver, who was 15 years old, shouldn't have been driving by herself. They both were deceased. What has happened was she had crossed the median and struck another vehicle. The child wasn't properly fastened in a restraint seat. And when I was on patrol, that was always a pet peeve for me. Someone that didn't have a child properly restrained. I'm always nice, respectful to people, but that bothered me. And I would tell the people why it bothered me, because I would stress to them the importance of that.
Yeah.
No one should have to go through that, seeing a dead child. I remember that day, I just wanted to go home and hug my daughter,
Yeah.
who's now 27. They'll be getting married August 10th, right after primary.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
I have 4 kids. She's my oldest. My middle daughter name is Kaya. My oldest daughter's name is Jasmine.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter's name is Alexandra. And my only son, my only prince, his name is Jason.
Oh,
He's Jason John. I'm Jason Lemuel. I didn't want him to have my middle name. I'm not fond of my middle name.
Lemuel.
Yep, Lemuel.
Is that a family name?
Named the King Lemuel from the Bible.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's great. And why did you decide now is the time? Have you run for office before?
No, I have not.
Why did you decide now is the time to run for office?
You know, I've had several people ask me over the years about running for sheriff. And especially when we were going through the pandemic, because of my different political ideologies, I am all for freedom, justice. I do not believe in sacrificing my freedom for a false sense of security. That's why I have been with the Constitution Sheriff's Peace Officers Association for several years now, learning more and more about the Constitution. Sheriffs have a lot of power of their county. Most sheriffs don't utilize that power. You can Google the state constitution. What gives the sheriff his authority, his power, is the oath he takes to protect the people. And that's important to me. I do not believe in tyranny. I do not agree with government overreach that we had during the pandemic. Being told not to go to church, that's a big no-no. I was raised Pentecostal, so I went to church all the time. Tuesday nights, Friday nights, Sunday mornings, Sunday nights. There were times where I told my mother, well, can I stay home? I don't feel good. Well, that's why you need to go to church. We can pray for you there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But giving up your freedoms, that does not sit well with me at all. It didn't. During the pandemic, I lost my my stepfather.
Sorry.
He was in a nursing home. And he had pneumonia, but he also had COVID. And unfortunately, because of the time, his funeral wasn't well attended and there was social distancing. It was, because of all that, it made the situation worse for me.
Mm-hmm.
Also during the pandemic, I lost my sister.
Sorry.
She died from cancer, but I was getting over the flu and I didn't take the vaccination, so I couldn't visit her where she was at. And that hit hard for me. I didn't see my sister there at the very end. I don't believe, and I didn't believe in all those different mandates. Take away our freedoms. And that's another reason why I wanted to run, because I would not allow that. Not at all. A sheriff has more power and authority than any county commissioning group, the public health department, even the federal government when it comes to the sheriff's county because of his oath. He is to protect the people. That's why I'm running for Berrien County Sheriff.
We're talking with Jason Long. He's a deputy with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff, as he just said. We'll be right back in a few minutes. We'll continue this interview with Deputy Long. And it's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got news and a whole lot more coming up in just a moment.
Loan rates are trending downward. Are you ready to make your move? Sturgis Bank's expert hometown lenders will guide you through the process and take the time to make sure you're ready to become a homeowner. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, looking at a vacation house, or thinking of building, Sturgis Bank can meet your needs.
Sorry, you were just sharing some more about your family.
Yes, I've lost my immediate family to cancer. My natural father, my mother, and my sister to cancer. In fact, I had my first colonoscopy last year, and the doctor told me that I had polyps.
That must have been concerning.
I didn't worry about it. I prayed. He told me that he would give me the results in like a week. It was actually 2 or 3 days. He said, "You're fine. See you in 10 years."
Nice.
Well, that was something else to hear about the power, because I have a couple of friends that retired as police officers, and I remember when they got the results back, they had cancer, prostate cancer, but they both survived it.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. What do you do to give yourself a break on the heavy issues that you face, whether that's family issues or whether those traffic accidents or issues that you see or hear about in the line of duty?
Well, church is important to me. And spending time with the kids. Because of my kids' different ages, I've got an adult kid and 3 younger children. My 3 younger children, they keep me busy. In fact, today after work, I'll be going to a scrimmage in St. Joe to watch my middle daughter, who's the athlete of the family, play volleyball. She is 16 years old. Her name is Kaya Long, and she's about as tall as me.
Nice.
All my kids are huge for their ages, except for my oldest. My oldest, who's 27, is getting married here August 10th. She was born a preemie. She was born like 3 months early. She weighed 2 pounds when she came out.
3 months early.
3 months early.
That's
and she didn't need a respirator at all, which is highly unusual.
Yeah, she's strong.
Yes.
Wow. She in the area?
No, she actually turned out a job for like 90 grand to move back in the area.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to move back in the area.
Oh, no.
She went to Fair State.
Okay.
Graduated magna cum laude. And she lives around that area.
Okay.
Which is good, because I've got a very good friend that I went to the police academy with years ago.
Yeah.
If something was to happen, God forbid, he can check in on her until I get there.
Nice. Okay, we're going to continue the interview. We've got to get to the Bloomberg Business Minute in just a moment, the Bloomberg Financial Report, our local news, our ABC News, and then we'll continue our interview with Jason Long. He's a deputy with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you.
Oh, not a problem.
And we've got more coming up in just a moment.
BIC Equal Housing Lender.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The start of the earnings season for the so-called Magnificent Seven left investors unimpressed. Tesla reported a 4th profit miss in a row, with CEO Elon Musk making it clear that better days are ahead. Meanwhile, Google parent Alphabet beat revenue expectations thanks to a boost from cloud computing services, but capital expenditures were larger than expected as Google races to weave AI into its popular products. Delta Airlines is under investigation by federal transportation authorities over how the company handled a technology outage that's led to thousands of canceled flights. Delta said Monday that restoring its systems would take days. Meanwhile, the cybersecurity company at the center of the massive global IT outages is offering an explanation. CrowdStrike said a bug in a safety mechanism allowed flawed data to go out to customers in a botched update. The incident crashed Microsoft Windows computer systems around the world on Friday. Futures point to a lower open for Wall Street. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Well, it's my pleasure to have you here listening to the WSJM Morning Show or watching on the video live stream. If you ever want to see what's happening behind the scenes, me pushing buttons, getting calluses on my fingers because we have so many buttons to push, testify. Am I pushing a lot of buttons over here?
Yes,
okay.
you are.
Thank you very much. 67 degrees in Benton Harbor right now, 68 degrees in St. Joseph, and cloudy skies. Looks like the rain is lightening up a little bit. You might still see some raindrops out there on your windshield as you're going to work. We are going to continue our conversation with Deputy Jason Long. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. That's coming up in just a moment after a look at local news.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Two big speeches today in Washington. President Biden will address the nation tonight about his historic decision to step away from his re-election campaign. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will address both houses of Congress about the war against Hamas. Protesters angry with the bombing of Gaza have been protesting in D.C. ahead of the speech. Delta Airlines customers still struggling to get back online after the CrowdStrike debacle.
Chaos and growing passenger outrage as Delta Airlines struggles to recover from that global IT outage. The major Delta flight disruptions now in their sixth day, leaving lots of passengers stranded at airports.
This is our fourth cancellation.
I just wish we'd given up and stayed home.
The U.S. Department of Transportation saying since Friday, Delta has canceled more than 6,000 flights. The airline now the subject of a federal investigation.
ABC's Faith Abube. Tennis star Coco Gauff will join LeBron James as a flag bearer for the Olympic team's Friday opening ceremony. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's 7:32. Thanks for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. Taking a look at some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom today. Hager Township officials are sending more Freedom of Information Act requests to the Berrien County government, looking for all legal bills associated with the Berrien County Drain Commission's lawsuit against the state. At last check, the bills stood at more than $670,000. Hager Township trustee Peter Kolovas says it's likely higher than that because the invoices stopped being reported a few months ago. So we'll have more on that story coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Federal officials have rejected Michigan's request for federal assistance to help communities recover from the tornadoes and storms that ripped through southwest Michigan in early May. Back on May 7th, EF2 tornadoes touched down in Kalamazoo, St. Joseph, and Branch counties. In EF1 tornado touched down in Cass County. Hundreds of businesses and homes were reported damaged as winds reached about 135 miles an hour. FEMA denied the governor's request, saying the damage was not of such severity and magnitude as to be beyond the capabilities of the state, affected local governments, and voluntary agencies. Governor Whitmer has 30 days to appeal the decision. A Benton Harbor man has been sentenced to more than 7 years in prison for possessing a stolen firearm with a high-capacity magazine as a convicted felon. U.S. Attorney Mark Taunton says 30-year-old Darrell William Kraft Jr. was charged last October under the Safe Summer 2023 program. It's a gun violence enforcement program. Taunton says in July of last year, following a series of apparently related shootings, police approached a parked car with Kraft inside. They eventually found a firearm that was loaded with a high-capacity magazine. He's been sentenced to 88 months in federal prison. Those stories and more coming up at 8 o'clock on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll continue our interview with Deputy Jason Long. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. That comes up right now on the video live stream and in a few minutes here on the radio. So thanks for listening. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
The Michigan News Network.
All right, and continuing our interview with Deputy Jason Long with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. I've asked this of your colleague who's also running, Roger Johnson, and I'll ask you. And I asked Chuck Haidt as well, the sheriff, current sheriff Chuck Haidt. Is it weird to be running against your boss?
Very weird.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit more. What's it like? Why take that? It seems like a risk, right? But tell us more about that. What's in your mind about it?
Well, I like a challenge. I'm a fighter. I don't back down from no one, anybody, any type of situation. I'm running my race. I'm not mudslinging. That's not me at all. I want to become sheriff. I want to help protect the citizens of Berrien County from unconstitutional mandates, from tyranny, That may sound strange coming from a black man,
Right.
but I'm a constitutional conservative. That's why I'm with the CSPOA. John Paul Raton has endorsed me. He is the Michigan director of the Constitutional Sheriff's Peace Officer Association. They were fighting across the country for constitutional rights during the pandemic. The CSPOA was started by Sheriff Mack in the 2000s. Sheriff Mack was one of the sheriffs that was threatened by the federal government about not enforcing certain laws, that he would be put in jail. And this is what the federal government told him. Well, him and some other sheriffs decided to fight the government. They did in the 90s, and they won. They took the government to court and won. That's why I really and truly believe in the CSPOA, and I've learned a lot about the Constitution. The academy only teaches you so much. Public school really doesn't teach you anything about the Constitution. The Constitution is important. The framers that put the Constitution together, I think if they're alive now, they would be disgusted on people being in power as long as they are now. The framers only expect you to do a term or two, then go back to your farm. You've got someone like Joe Biden, been in power for 50 years. You look here in Michigan, career politicians. You look here locally, career politicians. No one should be in power for an extended amount of time. In fact, I wish that the sheriffs here in Berrien County had a cap, like Indiana, 2 terms, and that's it.
How long would you serve? Would you serve for 2 terms?
I would serve for 2 terms.
Okay.
And then someone else needs to do it. Although there's no cap here, 2 terms would be more than enough for me.
Isn't there a benefit to continuity? That's what some would say.
It depends on how you look at it. Power corrupts.
Okay.
The longer you're in power control, it can corrupt you. It can corrupt anyone. I hate to think it probably could corrupt me if I was in power for 20-something years. That's just how I feel.
Okay. Where would you enforce what constitutional laws are not appropriate right now? What parts of the Constitution are happening here in Berrien County that you would want to see? Okay, I'm a sheriff. We're going to change the way things are handled here.
ERPL, extreme risk
The red
protocol.
flag laws.
Right.
Okay.
The red flag laws. In my opinion, taking someone's property is not right. Because believe it or not, people lie. You look at personal protection orders. Sometimes it's all about who gets to the courthouse first, because people do lie. With the red flag laws, because someone made an accusation about you, you may have to fight for your right to keep your property, your weapons. And believe it or not, sometimes you have a bad breakup with a spouse, ex-spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend. They lie. And they would have no problem filling out the paperwork. They have your property taken away.
And that would be reviewed. So the red flag law is it's a type of it's basically if a person is found to be at risk of harm to themselves or others with a gun, the state's red flag law can temporarily basically take away their firearms.
Yes.
Correct. And there's a review that must happen.
Yes.
Of that, and at some point, if there's a review and you're not found to be a risk, you get your firearms back, right?
That's correct.
And so what's wrong with that? To cool
I
things.
I can understand. It's a fine line, because I can attest, because of mental health issues that I talked about earlier, there are people that shouldn't have a weapon, if that makes any sense. But in my opinion, it just isn't right to enforce it, because it's unconstitutional. And you take that oath to uphold the Constitution. Either uphold the Constitution or you don't. You can't do both. It's one or the other. You got to go all in my opinion, one way or the other. And I'm all in with upholding the Constitution. But that's just me.
Okay. Let's continue this conversation in just a moment. We're talking with Deputy Jason Long. He's with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office, and he's running for Berrien County Sheriff. We'll talk more with him in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning. Just checking the comments on the video live stream. Sarah says, great to see you, Jason. Teresa says, good morning. Bill says, good morning.
Good morning.
So we'll be right back with more of this interview.
Indulge in delectable food and drink specials and great fun and games while enjoying the beats of talented DJs from Lux Entertainment. Kickstart the evening with half-off appetizers and pizza from 4 to 6. Brought to you by Century 21 affiliated St. Joseph's most desired real estate company. See the full menu plus creative drink options and more at plankstavern.com or book your reservation anytime on the Open Table app. Planks Tavern on the water inside the inn at Harbor Shores. An experience away from it all without going far.
Partly cloudy skies with scattered showers and storms arriving this afternoon with a cold front. Will warm to the upper 70s, though humidity will be high. Lake Michigan's waves around 1 to 3 feet. Rain will exit by the overnight hours, lows near 60. Much lower humidity and feeling more comfortable tomorrow, highs upper 70s. Taking a break from the humidity, entering the weekend, seeing lots of sun, highs near the low 80s Friday and Saturday. I'm WSBD 22 meteorologist Jessica Burns.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And good morning once again. It's 7:42. WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. My guest this morning is Deputy Jason Long. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. It's been an interesting conversation, and if you miss any part of it or if you want to go back or share it with a friend, we do have it on our Facebook and YouTube platforms. Just go look for WSJM, find the video, and do the appropriate sharing there. You wanted to talk about your endorsements, and I also have questions about some key qualifications for sheriff. Where do you want to go first?
You know what? You go with your questions first.
All right. What do you see as the key qualifications for sheriff of Berrien County?
Being a leader, being the type of person that'll stand up for your county, being fiscal with the budget. There's a lot of things that we could do to save money for the taxpayers here in Michigan. I think we overspend in a lot of different areas.
On leadership and budget, what experience do you have that can you bring to the office?
For leadership, although I've been a deputy, I've been OIC and officer in charge of several different situations with shootings, with barricaded gunmen. I'm a sergeant for the village of All Clear. People generally like me, but you know what? I imagine there's people that don't like me. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm a constitutional conservative, so government overreach is a no-no for me. And having a fiscal budget is definitely desired. Anyone that says that they're constitutional should want a fiscal type of budget.
Yeah. It's
saving the money for the taxpayers, especially right nowadays.
Yeah, it's a big agency, and you've got unions to deal with. You've got the jail considerations.
Yes.
All kinds of things. Any experience in managing a budget?
None. Not a big budget like that, but you know what? There's been other people in the past that didn't have that either. I would surround myself with the right people to help me out. That wouldn't be a problem. Like I said, I don't have experience with a big budget, but I've never been evicted. I never had a home foreclosed on me, and I never filed for bankruptcy.
Okay. You mentioned endorsements. You've got some key endorsements that you'd like to talk about.
Yes. I have been endorsed by John Paul Rutan, who is the Michigan director of the Constitutional Sheriff's Peace Officers Association. When I had my kickoff party in February, I'm glad I spoke first because John came in there and wooed the crowd with preaching the Constitution. That man knows the Constitution. He's a man of God, great guy, and he's become a good friend. I am also endorsed by Richard Grenell, who is President Trump's former acting director of national intelligence. That was a big one there.
How'd you get that?
You know, I've got a big following on Facebook, my personal page. I've got over 50,000 people that follow me.
No kidding.
Yes. And
wow. Show me how to do that. No, go ahead.
It's hard work. and lately I haven't been putting out a lot of content because I'm door knocking. I'm working my campaign. But one of my followers DM'd me and said, hey, I can put you in contact with Richard Grinnell. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. A couple weeks later, I was contacted. And he put me in contact with his political advisor. And his political advisor told me up front, more likely you won't get his endorsement.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. But they want to know everything I've been doing the past several years since the last presidential election. Let me tell you, I've been doing a lot. I have been going across the state of Michigan, fighting, protesting the mandates, fighting for 2A, the state capitol. I remember the first time I went to the state capitol for 2A.
What is 2A?
Second Amendment.
Okay.
There were some people that looked at me kind of weird. They had weapons. I don't know, maybe they thought I was a plant. Since I'm black and I was wearing this red MAGA hat and I was cheering. Yeah. But, after a while, I got to talking to those different people and they seen the person I am. I love my country. I was raised to love my country, love God. I also let Mr. Grinnell's political advisor know of other things I've done, such as stand up against, this may upset people, but it is what it is, Black Lives Matter. I was in Centerville, Michigan a few years back at a Constitution Day event where Ted Nugent was at.
Okay.
And there was someone from BLM that was screaming Black Lives Matter. In my opinion, all lives matter. We're all brothers and sisters, no matter what ethnicity, color we are, we're brothers and sisters. We have to look out for each other. So I was screaming, all lives matter. And Ted Nugent called me up to the stage to speak.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
That's fun.
Jan Morgan interviewed me. She ran, unfortunately, unsuccessfully for U.S. Senate a few years back, but she interviewed me, and that video went viral. I think there was like over 300,000 views.
That's great.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was on her YouTube channel.
Not yours.
Yeah, not mine. In
Okay.
fact, that's when I got my first strike.
Yeah, okay.
Because I showed it on mine, so I didn't give her site credit.
Oh, my
'Cause
goodness.
I didn't know.
That's funny. YouTube came down on you and enforced the
They
law
did.
there.
But you know what? On YouTube, I've got 2,000 subs.
Yeah, that's great.
But I haven't been able to put up a lot of content because I've been really busy here.
Yeah.
I'm also endorsed by Michigan Right to Life. I believe that life begins at conception. And I have strong views and feelings about that. My mother, I'm blessed. My mother definitely wanted to have me. My biological father didn't want me here. If it had been up to him, I wouldn't be here today. And unfortunately, he didn't want to have a relationship with me. It was my stepfather that raised me, Richard Russell. He's deceased now. He died in a nursing home during COVID, but he had pneumonia on top of COVID. So those endorsements, they mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
They definitely do, especially the Michigan Right to Life, all of them.
Can you sorry to interrupt. Can you
That's
talk
okay.
you mentioned leadership as well. I asked you about the budget. Leadership. What would your leadership style be with the people of the Berrien County Sheriff's Office?
I would probably go back to how I used to be. At my department now, it seems like people are vindictive. How I used to be when I was hired under a past administration, they may crack the whip, but then, you talk, work it out, and then everything was done. It's not like that nowadays. People are vindictive at the department.
What's an example?
Actually, I would rather not give an example
Okay.
since I'm an employee there. Who knows? I may be disciplined for what I've been saying here today, but you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I've got a right to free speech, and I've got a good attorney.
All right. Anything else on the leadership part?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. We will come back and we'll do our Moody on the Market update, and we'll give you your opportunity to make your pitch for votes.
Okay.
in just a moment. We're talking with Deputy Jason Long. He's with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. He's running for Berrien County Sheriff. It is the WSJM Morning Show. We're about 10 minutes before 8 o'clock, and we've got more coming up next.
Rich Fran and Tara Halsey from Insurance Management Service, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles, know it means something to have peace of mind knowing your insurance is taken care of.
Some people try to do the analytical game of, which plan makes more sense dollar-wise over a period of time, over a lot of years. Does it make more sense to take this deductible or that deductible or have this coverage or have that coverage? And at the end of the day, it really comes down to what helps you sleep at night.
Taking the time and just explaining to people what these coverages are and the positives and the negatives, that to me is a big deal. That's how you gain that trust. That's how those individuals, at the end of the day, they may stop thinking about what the total premium is, but just that peace of mind of knowing I am covered.
If you're going to pay the money, pay the insurance premium, it should help you sleep better at night.
IMS, an auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Management Service.
Are you a business owner worried about the safety of your sensitive data? Look no further than Midwest.
Okay, we've got about a minute and a half before we come back for the Moody on the Market update. So in that time, anything else that we should be asking you today, Deputy?
No, there's just a couple things I'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Not yet. This isn't the final pitch yet.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. This isn't the final pitch. So this is we're saying hello. We're giving exclusive content to our we're giving exclusive content to our video live stream people. There's Al is on the comment line. He says upholding statutes passed by the legislature is constitutional. I think he's talking about what the mandate is. If it's passed, it's constitutional and it's the sheriff's obligation. But
that's true.
Okay,
that is true. But oath of office of upholding the constitutional rights of the people, in my opinion, is more important than upholding the mandates.
Yeah,
I can respect his opinion, but protecting the people, constitutional rights, to me, is number one.
Yeah, it's got to be very complex to think about, and it seems like it would take a lot of time to delve into some of those issues. COVID was one big example.
Yes,
but you've got, like you said, the red flag laws and others as well. Would you enforce red flag laws?
I would not enforce red flag laws.
Okay. All right, we'll come back and give you your closing statements in just a moment. I'm talking with Deputy Jason Long. This is exclusive content you get on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be right back.
And day out at MoodyOnTheMarket.com and the Moody on the Market app.
Moody on the Market is a service made possible by your friends at Midwest Family.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
Sorry. We got to do the things, and I got to do the things. No, it's a good conversation. We're talking with Deputy Jason Long. He's with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office. It's time for your Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And during the Moody on the Market update, we like to talk about business updates, life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and also interesting people you should know. And during our candidate series, we've been introducing you to a lot of interesting people who are running for public office. And this is your opportunity, Deputy Long, to ask voters for a vote and tell them why you want to be Berrien County Sheriff. So with that, go right ahead.
I want to be your sheriff of Berrien County because I love people. I would make sure that you'd be protected from the government, from crime. I believe that's why I was put here on this earth. I believe that's my mission from God. You can find out more about me by going to jasonlongforsheriff.com, or you can just call me directly, 269-876-0056, but call me after 5, Monday through Friday. Can't talk about my campaign doing work.
Makes sense.
Anytime when I'm not at work, feel free to call me. I don't care what time it is. Call me after 5 p.m. You can call me in the wee hours of the morning. That's fine. I've got very good endorsements. Constitutional Sheriff's Peace Officers Association from John Paul Rutan, Richard Goodell, former acting director of National Intelligence with President Donald Trump, and also Michigan Right to Life. I've got very strong beliefs about Michigan right to life. I'm blessed to be here because if it had been left up to my biological father, I wouldn't be here right now. And he never wanted to have a relationship with me, so that's his loss. He missed out on a great kid. That's why I'm very appreciative when my kids tell me that they love me all the time, especially my oldest. They're all spoiled. They're all my babies.
That's great.
But vote for me. I protect you. I protect your families. I protect you from the government. I would not enforce any unconstitutional laws. I know that doesn't sit well with a lot of people. And understand the fine line. I've worked as a cop for over 24 years. There are a lot of people with mental health issues. And unfortunately, those people tend to have substance abuse problems. And you put those two things together, you have a ticking time bomb. So I understand the fine line. And I can understand why some people may not agree with me not enforcing red flag laws. I'm not saying I wouldn't do something about if someone brought to my, or a deputy, someone to the office with a complaint about someone that they think is having issues. I think there's other routes to take besides taking someone's property away. But that's my opinion, and that's what I would stand by. But vote for me, Jason Long, for your Berrien County Sheriff.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Deputy. We appreciate you.
me.
And thanks for all that you're doing for law enforcement.
Thank you.
Appreciate that as well. Deputy Jason Long, he's with the Berrien County Sheriff's Office, and he's running for Berrien County Sheriff. We've got the full interview. It'll be archived on our Facebook and YouTube pages if you want to go back and listen to that. It's the WSJM Morning Show, ABC News, coming up in just a moment.
Hi, this is Congressman Bill Huizenga, and on August 6th, I'm asking for your vote in the Republican primary. With the price of food, gas, and mortgage payments soaring, it is clear that Bidenomics is failing, and we in Michigan are paying the price. As your voice in Congress, I have fought to lower energy prices and to stop big government from making your life more expensive. And I've introduced legislation to rein in the spending that is fueling inflation so we can make this an even better place to call home. I'm Bill Huizenga, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message, paid for by Huizenga for Congress.
You can't feel at ease, wondering if your furnace is going to keep you warm or your air conditioner will keep you cool.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show video live stream. That wraps up this hour, and we're going to get into news here in just a moment. ABC News, our local news, and other stuff. We wrap up our candidate series before the August primary. We're wrapping it up tomorrow with a person who is running for Berrien County Treasurer. She's challenging the incumbent. Her name is Margaret Fife, and so we'll have her in the studio tomorrow morning starting at 7 o'clock. Right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And looking ahead to August, I want your ideas. If you have some ideas on who you might want to have in the studio, not political, we don't need to overdo that, but community voices, people you want to hear about, topics you want to hear about. I'm open to your suggestions. Just email me at kenl@wsjm.com. There, gave out my email address on the video live stream. Let's see what happens. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Good morning to everyone, and thank you all for joining. We appreciate you, your comments, and everything else. See ya.